problems that people deal with in applying AI. And it's not just code generation, by the way. There's many modalities is the word that people use to describe this. So a modality would be like text generation, modality will be audio generation, modality will be code generation. And all these modalities offer different and unique challenges, and also opportunities.
Well, that was kind of like where I wanted to go next. Like as a web developer who wants to do whatever, leverage some AI, what modalities are like, what should I be looking to do? And like kind of what's possible and what do you think people aren't doing? I have some scenarios if you're interested, but like
Sure.
Like, can I just send like two pieces of JSON and say, hey, what's good? You know?
Yes.
Or like, what's bad about this? You know, what happened? You know, like, and it can like generate stuff? Is that sort of like something that can do?
Yeah, comparing JSON, charting a code base, very, very fun. Take any code base, whatever, anything that's open source, and throw it in there and ask it to draw a diagram, and it's really good at that.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I do it all the time. It's fantastic.
Does it because it understands like imports, or just AI's no ESM?
It just understands the structure of code, right? And that's inherently easy to graph. And you have to just kind of hint it,
Yeah.
So like, color this box, or like, give it some kind of legend, but it does all the things. By the way, Code Interpreter is a mode of ChatGPT that you can pay for, $20 a month, that gives you a sandbox to execute the code in and actually do charting as well. So I would, if you're doing anything like visual, anything data analysis, you can upload a CSV and ask it to analyze the CSV. Anything like that, use Code Interpreter, which is a special mode inside of ChatGPT that if you're not close to the story, you maybe haven't tried out. It is the best thing since sliced bread. I will vouch for it.
It's a way of flagging it and saying, what I'm about to send you is code, so you should know that.
No. What I'm about to send you is data, and please write code to analyze this data. And sometimes that data is in the form of code. So coming back to the modality question, so I'll just map out the rough sequence, right? First, learn how to interact with the GPT-3 API and prompt it. Second, learn about prompt tooling, the retrieval augmented generation stuff we already talked about. Third, learn about code generation. Fourth, image generation. Fifth, speech to text, so that's kind of audio. And then you can also go the other way, text to speech, and that's really fun. I've had a phone call with an AI. And you can go back and forth. There's this amazing company, vocode.dev, and the latencies are so good, and you can have the conversation with these. It's amazing. So they do speech to text and text to speech, and then obviously text to text in between to generate all these conversations. It's amazing. And then number 6 is fine tuning and running open source models, because everyone cares about that. And then the last is dabbling in agents. So that's kind of like the sort of 7-day sequence I've kind of mapped out there.
Interesting.
Don't you have is that a time to plug your course? Don't you have something what that course takes the shape of?
Yeah. Well, I just think like this is how I would introduce it to my friends. Like, hey, if you don't have that much time, here's the main things you need to know exist, because these are all like extremely good, well proven out, available to everybody, and you are just choosing to ignore them. So yeah, that's the email course I'm working on at Latent Space. And to me, it's a free course. I'm not gonna make money off of it. I just think like everyone asks me for like, where do I start? And like, this is my like one answer. Because yeah.
And is that for somebody who's gonna? So you're advocating for this term AI engineer. I think you're gonna win that battle. Probably it just rolls off the tongue pretty nicely. But also, does it mean I have to be that, or can I be both? Like, can I just still be a web developer and also just take all these and just be both, or like, is it pay to specialize or whatever?
No, absolutely not. Obviously everything's a spectrum, and you can assume multiple hats in your life. I just think this is someone needs to lay out the syllabus or like map out the field as much as it's established, and this is like my high confidence map of things that I know to be valuable and doable, and you should know. There's a lot more experimental things that I'm like not sure about that I'm not going to put in there. But the stuff that I can make mandatory here is like stuff that you should know. And I think everyone needs that approach in terms of learning anything. Like, what is a core set of skills that everybody like must know, even if you're like not dabbling in it day to day professionally.
I see. It's one of these like you should learn a little HTML first, and then you should learn the box model, and then you should learn enough JavaScript to hit an API, to do a click handler or whatever. It's that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And I'll mention like this intersection. You asking me about this intersection between AI engineering and software engineering. I've actually started pulling in some of our front-end friends. I think you might be familiar with Amelia Wattenberger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's been spending the past couple years at GitHub on Copilot, and she's been doing some really interesting demos on the side. And I actually organized the first AI UX meetup in SF, and I think there's a huge amount of potential for front-end engineers in particular to embrace AI because the capabilities are there. There's actually not that much of a heavy backend component. It's really about making it accessible to the end user and creating new human interfaces to interface with the models.
Right. She had her and both Maggie Appleton had posts that were I loved because we talked all this time about prompts, and I know I even sensed some pushback from you, like prompts is last year kind of thing. I also don't love them. Like it's not that I couldn't learn it, but I'm like, it seems so early that I have to craft a prompt. Oh man, like I don't. That's weird. Like why? I'm more interested in these tools that like the prompt, even if the prompt is what the API does behind the scenes, I don't want to write it. And that's what it seems like Copilot works for me. It's like the prompt is just like whatever's happening around where my cursor is. And Amelia had this post of like a writing tool that there was no prompting. There's just writing. And then wherever your cursor was, it was almost like analyzing the text around where your cursor was. And it was saying like, oh, this piece of writing, I'm going to click the happy face. Could you make it like happier somehow? Or like, could you elaborate a little bit? And I'm assuming what behind the scenes, it takes that chunk of text, the paragraph that's around where the cursor is, and then you click the happy face, and what's happening behind the scenes is it's adding additional prompt information that's like, take that piece of code and make it sound happy, or whatever kind of crap you have to write into the prompt, and then comes back from the API something that you surface like, how about this? And then you're like, sure, sounds good, I accept. That's awesome. That's like a great user experience around editing a text document. And hers was, I think it was hypothetical. I wouldn't doubt that she's built it or somebody has something like it. Yeah.
She's demoed it. Yeah, so both Maggie's and Amelia, both of them spoke at the meetup. Maggie was a co-organizer. And it all came out of this AI UX meetup that we organized. The full video is on YouTube. ChatGPT itself, OpenAI has been repeatedly calling it basically a UX innovation. Like the models were there, someone needed to come along and shape it into an app, and suddenly that blows up because now people can actually use it. And so like I strongly encourage designers and UX people, UI people to embrace this because there's so much opportunity for you to unlock the last mile value, and just make it show the creative potential of the machine. Because like right now we do a lot of forms, a lot of work is forms and data tables and displays, and now we can actually kind of break out of that paradigm and create new things, including, by the way, ephemeral UI that is generated on the fly based on the use case and context intent, because you can write code and then you can run it. So why not generate tables on the fly?
That blows my mind a little bit. Like you're doing some rote task and somehow it understands what you're doing and is like, ooh, I'm gonna actually write a quick little program to help you do that task, and then you can do it and then just throw it away because you're done doing it.
Yeah, so the ability to generate throwaway code is actually much better, or the activation energy is much lower, and that's fantastic if you know what you're doing, right? It's very easy to burn yourself if you don't know what you're doing and you're just kind of
Is that why you're saying this isn't replacing anybody's jobs? Is because like you still need this high level of understanding of what's going on? Yeah.
The phrase I often go with is that everyone just got a junior developer, and it's up to you to supervise them and put them to work. If you don't know how to put them to work, you're not going to benefit.
The dark side being, let's say it does make you twice as productive. We know about capitalism and how it works. Your boss isn't going to be like, well, take Thursday and Friday off then. You're crushing it. They're going to say, well, we expect you to be that productive all the time then. I mean, to me, that does have a ring of darkness that I don't love, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, Yeah, well, I think, then this kind of maybe broadens out the general philosophy of like software. There's always more tickets than we can ever handle, right? So it just it helps us handle more tickets. By the way, there are many startups working on the GitHub issue to PR flow, like create an issue in linear GitHub, and then it auto-generates a PR.
Oh my God. It's like, I got an idea how to fix that particular bug.
I've also heard the opposite, like Stack Overflow and some maintainers are just burdened by all these AI garbage PRs.
SEO content as well. It's just people are gonna be spammed by all sorts of garbage. So it creates new problems too.
Creating spam, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I unfortunately have a hard stop, so we have to like put an end to this conversation. I super apologize because I'm
That's all right,
enjoying
man.
it. I just Sean, thanks for coming on. Like I don't know. There's a lot of hype around AI, and it's really easy to like be a hater. I guess is it crypto 2.0? But like I think you've done a really great job like demystifying some of the like sort of stuff about it. So I think that's
Thanks so much.
really cool. And I don't know. We'll have to chat some more. But I guess before
Yeah, this went way too fast. So yeah,
I got 100 more questions here, so we'll have to do it again. But for those who aren't following you and giving you money, how can they do that?
I'm still on Twitter for now, or X as they call it. I don't need your money. I guess if you are interested in learning more about AI engineering, the site is latent.space. I'm very into the custom domains these days. And the conference I'm doing is AI.engineer, which is in October. And we're gathering all the AI engineers. Come join in.
Very cool. All right. Well, thank you for coming on the show. And thank you, dear listener, for downloading this new part at your choice. Be sure to star figure out as people find out about the show. If you built something cool with AI, let us know. That'd be cool to know. And then, I don't know, I guess we're on X, Mastodon, or wherever. But anyway, join us in the Discord. Of course, that's where all the cool stuff happens. Patreon.com/ShopTalkShow. And Chris, got anything else you'd like to say?
Whoa, ShopTalkShow.com.
Hey there, Shopping Maniacs. You're listening to another analog episode of the Shop Talk Show. I'm Dave, and with me is Chris. I take it away, Chris. Lazy John, man, that's great. I was gonna try to sing over it. I don't know the words of that song, but I was gonna make some up. And it was gonna be like, I went down to the river and drank a bottle of wine or something. Just kind of like. But knowing latency and the effects of a online recording product, I was like, nope, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, it can't be done. Although, gosh, was it you sent me? Somebody sent me a thing like during the pandemic that was like, we solved this basically, but it required having some hardware.
Oh, okay, interesting.
You had to get a box in your office, and there was literally geographic concerns. Like you had to be like, I could do it with somebody in Seattle here from Bend because it was close enough that they could kind of guarantee it, but across the world wasn't happening. But so you could and if you sent it to everybody in your band, they could do multiple people, do a whole band thing. It's cool that tech stepped in there and kind of made it happen. It makes me think of that like the email, the 500-mile email or whatever. I'm sure you've read that story.
I love that bug. Where somebody like at Berkeley or something or MIT was like, hey, I can send emails, it's all working, unless I try to send it over 500 miles. And they were like, excuse me? That's not true.
But it turned out to be true because of some weird timeout or something. I can't remember the details. It's actually better to forget and then reread that story, so it's awesome next time.
Yeah. That's probably true with most stories, huh? It's fun to forget the ending, so you're like, oh yeah, that's cool. Or like a big chunk of it. I don't know. Maybe that's why I watch Goonies every time. I don't know. I can quote it. end to end, but I still like, oh yeah, that part's funny. So that's good. So
Heck yeah. Well, just a normal week. Just me and you.
hanging out.
Miranda calls it the Christopher and David Show.
Ooh, good. That's good.
That's how she refers to Shop Talk Show. Christopher and David Show has a little hip shuffle that goes with it.
My wife almost knows when we record this. We change it up a little bit here and there, so she's always confused. But she was like, the kids get out at like 1, so and I was like, no, I only podcast till 12, so
all good.
It's fine. I'll take the kids. It's fine. So anyway,
all good. Yeah, it's summer. A lot of surprise child camp.
So we go back to school. So anyway, it's really hot, but yeah, we've been heading back to school and stuff. So like, pretty exciting over here in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
When you're listening to this, my children will be in school. That has no bearing on your life, but that is a huge one on my life. Because now childcare is solved and free. So
heck yeah. Yeah, even if it's only 6 hours or however long kids go to school these days, but that's okay. Yeah, we've been loading up the camps too, doing what we can.
You got to survive the summer. So
there's lots of software to talk about. God, I could talk about software forever. It's just on the mind. Not that it shouldn't always be.
You want to talk about how Apple numbers is total trash? Because I could probably do a whole hour on this thing.
Oh no! I unfortunately had a good experience the other day where
really?
Well, there's a website with a table on it, right? Like a table element, and I really wanted to add up the columns in one of the columns of the table, but the website didn't feature that. There's no like quick HTML way to do it. Maybe I could have written a clever query selector and done a little JavaScript math or something. And I'm like, why is this so hard? But I selected, just from the upper left, click and hold my mouse and just copy down to the bottom right of the table. And I was just like, I bet numbers will just know what I mean when I hit paste.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean?
Did?
And it just totally did, and then and then it's 1 second to just select that one cell after the end of the last row, and then hit equals, and then drag your mouse up the column and be like, add all those things up, and it did it just fine. So, but that is a tiny little thing. I'm not trying to actually really truly use the software, which I don't know what your pain is, but
this is back to tech. We have a memory issue in Luro, like a cron job that runs production only is timing out, like Eric's saying, like heap allocation used or whatever, and so it just crashes. And so it's like production only bug hooked up to a cron job, and yikes. So
yeah, the worst kind of bug.
The worst,
for sure.
like the most hard to reproduce. Like still don't quite have a repro locally and stuff like that, because like I'm not going to be able to max out my MacBook Pro. Like probably can't, but whatever, like garbage Intel.
But it has to do with
the
files
servers.
somehow, you think?
Yeah, like a file read, and I think it's just like reading a very giant file and falling over. So that's sort of what like we're having to deal with. But anyway, we've like gotten to the point like where like debugging memory checkpoints to just make sure we have no leaks and stuff like that. So like we're logging out process dot memory usage, I think is what it is, or process, in Node, and like tracking all these numbers. I have a table of like 1,600, rows for this one loop, right? Or for this one pass. And and I dump it into numbers, right? And it's actually 5 values from process memory usage: the RSS, the heap total, the heap used, the 2 other ones. Anyway, I don't care about those other ones. They're just kind of like allocation things. So I'm looking at these values, and they're all in bytes. Like, so it's like 70 million bytes, and I'm just like, it'd be so cool if I could just read this in megabytes or kilobytes or whatever, something simpler than like a 12-digit number. And so but Apple Numbers doesn't let you format like that. I feel like any software would let me figure that out. Notion probably works, like bytes to kilobytes, or like I write a little formula or something. Anyway, it's just like, it's I guess I could get more savvy with Apple or whatever and figure it out. But anyway, it was just frustrating. It's just like, I bet like other software does this just fine. So lets me write a custom formatter that's like megabytes. I couldn't find anything. There's no docs about Apple numbers. The website is literally a page, so
yeah.
And anything is in
there's
Apple
no customer support.
Yeah, there's no customer support. There's no people making TikToks about how to get the most out of Apple numbers. There's nothing. So anyway, that's my gripe. Could be. I think it does get an upgrade here in the next OS version. So we'll see. We'll see if it can redeem itself.
Yeah. Isn't that funny that the bigger the software, the almost like guaranteed worse the service is? Like, you can't get somebody from Google on the phone. Mm-hmm. That's like not happening, right? Actually, remember when they sold their domains business? That's all still kind of happening. I think they sold to Squarespace and whatever. Did you see Matt Mullenweg was salty about it? He's like, I should have bid on that. Which I'm like, yeah, you should have. Well, better. Although people would have had the same opinion.
Probably would have gone over better. I think it would have gone over better.
Better?
So,
yeah, maybe. But like, people were saying, well, part of the reason is because you kind of have to have customer support for a domain service. Like, that's so important. You can't just be like, yeah, good luck with your DNS. Hope that works out for you. There needs to be customer support of some kind, which you'd think would be true for your, business email or whatever too, but just somehow isn't. Like, I don't know, if you're having trouble with your entire company's email, too bad, I guess. They probably have some semblance of customer support, but I wouldn't assume that I could talk to somebody from Google. That's not going to happen. Facebook too. I had a buddy whose Facebook account got hacked, and he's like, well, I'm me though, so there's some way, something. Can I send you my driver's license? Something to unactivate. And it's like, no, there's no process, there's no email, there's no phone number, there's absolutely no way. I'm sure if you went and sat a chair outside of their offices, they would just call the police on you or something. Like, you're not getting your account back. It's too bad.
That happened to my friend. His account got hacked. Started posting the bad porn, the worst one, and he just was like, this sucks, and his account was shut down, deleted, basically. He can't get back to it. All his friends, all his photos and stuff like that for years is just gone. Just gone. So
yeah, I don't know. It can be tricky, if you wrote to us at CodePen and on a free account, it's like, what do we have to verify you? Like, you could send me your driver's license, but there's nothing I can compare the details on your driver's license against to know that was you who originally made that account. So it's hard. If you paid, you're in forever. Well, I can absolutely do it. We can check the credit card details. There's a trail we have that leads directly to you, so you just never have that problem, which means you should go pro on CodePen.
Yeah, like, hey man, if you want to pay me money for Laura, I'll personally do a SQL dump of all your stuff every night.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you pay me money, I know who you are. We have an interaction, we have a paper trail. I could say well, give me the transaction from 22, whatever. Yeah, we could just cruise bank statements and try to verify you or something. But yeah, when it's just you're free anonymous, that's hard to really.
Yeah, tricky. You at some point, do you just make a judgment call? Like, if your photo is full of 10 years of photos, of a person who matches the driver's license photo, at some point, do you yeah, all right, here, we'll let you back in. Or if it matches patterns of obvious spam, like at one day, all of a sudden it started posting nutritional supplements. What do you think happened?
Right. He just got big into getting yoked and swole. Dude, they had to get there.
It's got to be hard to know, but I'm sure each one of those cases then is, hours of work for someone or something, and they're like, well, that doesn't make money, so why would we do that?
Right. And they ask, irony here, Facebook makes money if somebody hacks your account, and then you have to go create a new one because new user signups goes up.
Yeah, true. Insidious though, because if that's a sad story, and the more of those that happen, the more people are like, you know what, forget that web app, which is the very worst thing that could happen.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's hard though, because it's also like as the website owner or whatever, you have some responsibility, like but like it's not your fault if somebody's password is password 123. Like I can only help so much. Like
Speaking of big software making changes,
let's go.
lots of stuff though. Actually, like well, let me just instead of getting scope
You're
creep
launching
immediately, I'm going to do the
now.
one. No, I'm going to do Figma. Figma launched
Yes.
P3 colors in Figma, which
Oh,
is good because
nice.
it's design software. It runs on the web. Websites support P3 color these days. Your monitor might not, but it probably does. Monitors, it was like the way that it trickled through the ecosystem, I think, was kind of like video formats and photo formats kind of first, and then kind of the most incentive to capture the most color as they could, so they did. And then displays started catching up. Well, if we have that color information, why don't we show it on the screen? It actually probably sells monitors because they look great when they have more and richer colors and all that. It makes for good marketing. And then the technology is catching up last. For example, CSS, another web tech needs to be able to specify a color that is in that P3 color space. So all that was starting to happen. Now it's software's turn, like Photoshop already supports it. So it's a little weird how it supports it, but it's in there. Interesting. And now Figma is too, and they have all sorts of challenges for supporting it though, because there's this concept of color profiles. I think there's a good thread on it from the fellow who was on our show talking about OKC LCH, Audrey Sitnick, was like, well, it's tricky because different people can open the file that have different needs and setups on their machine, and then color profiles was one of the ways it happened. I feel like it's this dialog box that if you've been around the web and design software for a long time, you've seen 1,000 times without even knowing it. When you used to open up a Photoshop document, there's a good chance it would tell you this document has a different color profile than the RGB color space of the current working space, blah blah. Would you like to, convert it to your color profile, honor their color profile, throw away color profile information? And nobody knew what it meant. I'm still a little unclear, and you're just like, I don't know, one of those sounds fine.
Yeah.
Do one of
Whichever
those.
one you think, buddy. Yeah, like you tell me.
Yeah, which one do you think? Yeah.
Well, it's the same with fonts, right? It's like this one doesn't have fonts, so I replaced everything with Georgia, and you're like, well,
I do care about that one.
That's not okay, but like, what's tricky is like having a font on your computer or not on your computer is that it's kind of obvious, right? Like it's like, oh, that's not the right font. Sometimes it's obvious, Attikin's grotesque and like, I don't know, like Helvetica. I don't really know the difference, but I'm sure there is one. But like the color profile is like, so like you don't know, like I could be plugged into an external monitor that does not have it, but my laptop does have it.
Right.
Who's right? Who's got it? I don't know. I think it's the monitor, but
very tricky. But all that stuff has been handled by the technology and is ready to go. That a non-support situation where the software supports that color, but the monitor doesn't. That's a good one generally, because the software can sense that situation. It pulls the color back into a color space that can be shown. It's a nice fallback. Instead of just showing white or black or nothing or something, they know how to like shift the color back down into the color space. Pretty cool, really.
Yeah. I just wonder if it's like rough seas here, like because I choose the coolest pink, the hottest pink, laser pink, right? And then Jeff opens it on his computer. That's an old bad one. Just kidding. He's a RGB basic bitch, and so he opens it and like it's just, and then he's like, ooh, that pink just isn't cool. I'm gonna switch to lime green because that's popping on my computer, And
right.
I got my computer, and then it's like
exactly the collaborative aspects of this are rough.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to summarize this perfectly, but one of the interesting things is that even at hex code, we think of in CSS now as in RGB only. And that's true for CSS. You cannot say, I want this hex code to exist in the whatever, LCH color space or in P3 color or whatever, one of the other color. Yeah, so it's not exactly in my brain right now, but I'm sure you can imagine what I mean.
Rec 2020, P3, Rec 2020.
Right, but there's color models and there's color spaces.
Yeah.
P3 is the space, and then you can model the color differently, and those tend to map to functions in CSS, right? Like lab is different than LCH, and there's other ones. But what does Figma do? They don't really have the they don't put the OKLCH function in Figma. They just do the hex codes, you know? Sometimes even the 8-digit ones, but that's just alpha. It doesn't matter that much. But they can display the P3 colors, but the hex code values go up into P3 space, which is a little unfortunate because then if you copy and paste that out, it's not going to work in CSS.
Yeah,
you know?
right. That was my thing. Because the hex code is S or RGB, literally, right? And
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, but it is in CSS. You know?
it is in CSS, and so it does kind of flatten the colors to some degree. I mean, you can get up into the space, I guess, in some things, like yellows maybe, but you can't, right? It more or less flattens the P3 space. Damn.
It does. It's a little weird. And here's another thing: is even the same hex code can mean different things depending on what your system supports, what your monitor supports. So Andrew is using FF0000, which is red in a hex code. That's just straight up different. That exact hex code in P3 is way more richly red.
Oh, so if I do whatever color from or whatever, it would look super different. Interesting.
Well, but it does solve the issue of somebody else opening the same file in Figma. It's not going to show you two different hex codes. It's the same hex code. You know, hopefully it stops them from changing it. They're like, that doesn't look as good. I'm going to move it around, and then they're moving it around within the confines of RGB, whereas you're like, don't do that.
Yeah. It's a brain melter, man. I mean, I've tried to communicate to my coworkers how cool it is, but I don't do a great job. So I think, we'll get there eventually, but it's hard, and the tools aren't there yet either. So I'm glad it's now in Figma to some degree. So
the saving grace is Andrew was a little incentivized to get you to use OKLCH.com, which I don't. They just think it's a cool tool, and it is a cool tool. It's not like a paid thing or anything. But the cool thing is you can take that, no matter what kind of computer you have, you can take that Figma hex code, paste it into OKLCH.com and select Figma P3, and then it will convert it to CSS. So you're not totally screwed here or whatever.
Oh, really? Okay.
You just gotta know to do that. You'd think Figma would have a slightly better story than that, unless I just have it wrong, and then someone from Figma please email me or whatever. I don't understand, but it does seem a little weird that you can it's nice that Figma has P3 colors in it, but as you know from the conference thing you were just at, they're pretty big on Figma to web design. They want to help that flow, that it's a little bit of a bummer that you might grab a hex code right out of it that doesn't work. That's not good.
Yeah. Oh, man, weird times, huh? Weird times.
So Tom writes, this all came from a question, believe it or not. He says, can you imagine a color space CSS property? It could be set on the root of the page or even in a meta tag. Yeah, he's excited about the color features coming to CSS, but can't help feel that there's a tricky disconnect between the design software and the web. Right. He says, you've mentioned copy and pasteability of hex, which is no small thing. I still feel strongly about that. I feel like design software don't make the more complex color formats easy to copy and paste, then people just won't do it. I find myself even just being just give me a hex code because of how easy they are to grab.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, but I think Tom has a good point. Like, wouldn't that be interesting if you could set the page to say this, I don't know, element, or probably the whole page is probably the way to do it, is in this other color space. Then you could use hex codes that are outside of sRGB, and that would certainly help Figma's case. I don't know if that's beyond my pay grade, but
So I picked the P3 orange, right? And it's the Figma P3 hex code is FB6222 FF, right?
Okay.
8-digit hex code FB6222. But then the like fallback hex is FF6832. I guess I don't understand how it's punching up into this color space, but that's just my brain here. So, because if I type FB6222, I don't get the same color. I'm so confused. And then, oh well, hey, we'll figure it out one day. I don't get it. No. I don't get it, Chris. I don't get it. So, anyway.
hard world. Yeah, indeed. Maybe we should do another one here. But interesting. Yeah, I know what it's like trying to design software for designers and developers. A little tricky. Stuff to just catch up on there. We do have a fella, Chris Weiser, like Budweiser without the bud. Nice, buddy. We had a question for you specifically, just about productivity tools. Curious, you said you've had the run of the gamut of productivity tools: to-do apps, bullet journaling, sticky notes, Ugmonk's analog card system. You do and think about this stuff a lot. So he's just wondering if are you still on analog? Do you recommend it for other people? Talk productivity tools, Dave.
I think you could probably pick a productivity tool if you understand your own brain a lot better, I think that's what I've been understanding. Again, this is like undiagnosed ADHD, not from a doctor, it's from TikTok. So don't, take this, don't self-diagnose yourself off of this. But what I've noticed is there's this thing called optimal stimulation, and if I have too much stimulation, I become overwhelmed and I shut down. So, and it's this weird thing about ADHD. It's not so much an attention deficit, but it's an attention starvation, and so it's kind of like when you're full and when you've eaten too much, you're like, God, that sucks, I'm in a bad state. But when you're hungry, you're just like, I need more, so.
Okay.
So, anyway, that's sort of
how does this work? Can you do, for example, just one thing at a time only?
No, I'm doing 10 things right now. So I got a code editor, I got a blog post, I got a podcast, I got a,
I get you.
database tool, and I got 10 things going right now.
So that's good to know about you too, that you have something to do today, and you're going to get it done, but not through exclusive focus on it. Because you could hear that as advice, right? You got to get something done. Focus, man. Focus.
And you're like, dude,
I actually need to focus on 3 things in order to get that one done. So sorry, but that's just how I have to roll.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like the trick I'm learning with ADHD, my undiagnosed ADHD that I self-medicate with caffeine, is like there's like moments of unfocused, like you're doing 10 things at once, and then there's moments of hyper-focused. Is that that's where the superpower of ADHD comes in? Like you can almost get like, an 8-hour stretch where you forget to eat and you're just working on stuff, or, like hardcore and just hammering stuff out. So like learning that rhythm and stuff is important. So also to say, before we get into productivity systems, know thyself, I guess, right?
Right. It does seem a little cart before the horse or whatever to just be like, hey, you know what you need? You need
a bullet journal.
Yeah. Because how would you know that you need? That's weird.
So understanding what you do is, I think, or how you operate is the most thing. So I'll go through like the thing, like bullet journal is very cool. It's I'll just describe it, but it's basically like you do planning. You basically draw like 5 columns for the week, or 7 if you want to do weekends in this thing. And then you say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, what do I have to do? You write down, draw little check boxes for what you have to do that day. And then And then you also have this on a month level, like what do I have to do this month? And then you kind of like boil all this stuff down at the end of every month. It's very cool. And then maybe you even have a day thing where you like sit down and you like do, okay, today, what do I have to do? I kind of forget all the aspects of it, but it's very cool. I found out though, like if I don't do it, I fall off the horse very quickly. Like it's just, if I don't open that notebook that all that information's in, it's gone. I'd lost, you know?
Yeah, you'd be starting over to get back on the train.
Yeah, my previous productivity system was sticky notes everywhere. Like I put sticky notes with like GitHub issues or that I need to do today, or you know, feed yourself or walk the dog, whatever. This is cool. This is very noisy, and that's where that optimal stimulation thing comes in. Like it is visual clutter that when I'm stressed, I actually don't react well. I shut down because of visual clutter. Like even stuff in my house, like, you know, whatever, kids all over the house, it just drives me nuts because it's like, I'm stressed, this is clutter, visually, my environment and myself are interacting. So that's, again, unique to me. But the UGMUG analog system has been great.
julle nie weet. Unmute on. Daar's volume. Praat gou, Matrix net gepraat. Elke mannetjie het volume. As jy op jou hart 200. Nice. Ja, dan zit mijn driver van mijn computer, maar ik weet dat jullie audio niet deurkomen. Wanneer of die party dit opkomt. Dus je moet echt gaan bij. Dan invite jullie maar weer. Of ik wil een game opnemen. Also into dan moet je ook invite of zo nog wat uit. Kijk maar, dat is je ready. Kan je mij nou wel eens zeggen, wat is? Wel, Xbox, wat is? Maar ik kan je niet ready, sorry. Je praat niet, nou, zeg.
Yeah, you might want to get a fast track, but you can't just piggyback.
Waar is je body nou?
You're braver than you know it. You're stronger than you show it. You're braver than you know it.
Oei, zo is de Xbox. Twee Xbox. Misschien is het die andere Xbox. Jullie nog placements doen en jullie ranks. Ik heb mijn andere account gekregen. Dat is nog placements. Wel glad niet rijden, nooit. Dat is het ook. Wel, ik weet niet veel, maar ongeveer iedereen kan je search. Op Xbox. Dat is 3 Xbox. Net 'n join, kan jy my hoor? Kan jy my hoor? Ek kan jy nog steeds hoor nie. En ek het nou Xbox services ook gestart en ek dink dalk is dit iets. Away, kan jy my hoor? Ek kan jy nog steeds hoor nie, dis baie weird. As ek right klik op jou mannetjie dan is al volume slider en hy's vol. Ja, op Discord, in-game seker nie makkelijk zijn. Ek het in-games in afgesit en ek knop, dit kan maar het knop. En miskien moet ek in-game aan, weet. As my in-game is aan. En Xbox. Ek het die OBS.
Gaan dit naar chat toe?
Ja, kan ek nou hoor.
Ja, ek het in-game aangezet.
Wow.
Ja. Dan nog Peter nou. Peter, kan je wat?
Ek net die dinge los. Ek maak sommer vir P3 liever of vir jou liever.
Ja, maak hem even. Oké. Peter, ga net bij jouw settings en dan ga je bij chat. En dan ga je bij voice. Je kan dus dat push to talk. Maak het maar net open.
Enige ek weet nie hoe Xbox chat is nie, maar die in-game chat is nogals delayed.
Ja, de Xbox chat is nice. Dat is met rechts rijden. Maar Discord is van die beste.
Is on time, ja.
Ja.
Weet jy hulle rechts maar hulle die beste podcast.
Ja.
Ek weet ook hoe die chat is delayed, maar ek gaan misschien met die chat kwijt. Ek gaan nog steeds praten en so.
Hallo, kan je me horen?
Yes, ja.
Awesome. Dat is net moe saaf.
Maar jy kan se volume van voice chat.
Ik zou het nou harder zetten.
En ek kan musiek natuurlijk my voice chat is up to 70, that's alright.
Kan je mij horen, Koen?
Ja.
Oké. Klein is echt fijn, hard genoeg.
Ja, dat zit hier bedoeld.
Oké, dan ben ik niet echt niet raar. We gaan nou hier naar dat zet. Nee.
Wat is dat?
Settings, audio, voice chat. Okay. Well done. Yes sir, okay. Ik heb net voor jou, ik heb net voor Robert afgesteld. Hij is daar. Nee, hij weet niet. Kun je wat jij gaat?
Ja, laten we zien. Testing.
Oké, cool. Ja, als ik niet jij wat zo hard is, Robert. Als ik... Oké, ja, zit niet in mijn gebied achter, want als ik dan... Als ik jou achter kan zitten, kan ik niet als ik Koen niet kan horen.
Nee, ik kan niet myne nader zetten.
Oh, oké, cool.
Ik sta gewoon net bij mij. Wat echt nou? Oh, is kak.
Yo, check the other things. Alles met deze defense nog bij.
Oh.
Ja. Ja, je hebt stilgestaan en niks gedaan te kijken, ja. Hoe join je weer game? Wat? Dat is een bot. Je moet vanaf maar. Oké.
Excuse, ik was wel even.
Wel dan. Amper een go werkt voor ons. Uitgaan. Zo. Oh. Inside. Oh, you're done. Well done. Oh, als je hem gemist hebt, Koen, dan was ik daar. Ja.
Sorry, was het voor je op call?
Ga je daar? Ah, ik druk terug. Kijk. Sorry.
Nee, Pieter. Ah, dat is het. Ja, kakken. Oh,
Ja.
easy gun.
Dat is chaos.
Ja, nee. Ja, meneer.
We hebben net de fase 2 gewonnen, sinds ik dan. Koen. Koen niet.
Is het? Atau fuck off, man. Oh, that's nice.
Hij krijgt
Yes, baby. Oh, oh, blood owner. Yeah, I can't even believe it. Nice.
Oh nice, you did it left.
Oh, that before in the middle.
Oh, there's fire. This is the city.
Is it now? Ah, lag hem voor mij. Bastard. Oh, excuse. Oh, dat is mijn schuld. Excuse.
Ja, ik was daar en ik kan poepen.
Ja. Sorry. Kijk.
Universiteit gelegd in macht.
Oh, iets gaaf. Ah.
GG open.
Nee, nee, maak hulle bou hulle op, breek hulle af.
Ja. Kon nie sê dis te maklik, hy was seker moeilik, sulke aerials.
Nee, nee, wat? As dit domme. As dit. Ah! Wat is al 'n lekker kontak was. Bring hom. Hier is dit. Kijk, val terug.
Kijk, kijk, een beetje. Oh.
Kom maar, ik ga wel.
Nee, dat is goed.
Gaan weg, gaan weg.
Uit ons moeilijkheid. Snacks is... Double snacks is niet in.
Hier is kaart. Lekker naar elke keer. Altijd. Ah, ik was te vroeg.
Oh! Yes, dat is kluis.
Yes, die man, ik was al weggezet. Lekker. Mooi. Niks. Oh, petrol. Oh, petrol.
Ik moet nog mijn naam veranderen.
Oh, is lekker kakbal. Netjes. Kaart.
Oké, ik zie zo.
Dus achter.
Oh, dat heb ik niet gemaakt. That's fine. Ik heb een touch. Hoppa.
Fuck.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's fine. Wait.
Oh, okay. Why he's got boys? Oh, come on! Yeah, iPad, TNT van mij, go. What a goal. Ja, nee, die is een goal.
Ja, go hem nooit gaat. Hij is
Volgens mij.
krijgt.
Ja, joh. Ja, nee, man. Redemption.
Redemption? Leertekens.
Ah, joh.
Top.
Ja.
Oh, mooi. Oh.
Ek kan
Nee.
vonkels sien nie, ek love it.
Oké, dan moet ons weer goal score hier op
Alright.
die laaste bitter einde. Oei, oké. Ek het hom.
Nice.
Ek is daar nie.
Volken is echt hoor, ik love it.
Okay, nice. We're done, let's take one.
Ek het die booms die. Yes!
Yes, ek het hom net getas, ja, sterk. Hy's great. Yes.
Oh, that's good, that's good. Okay, now to the main deal. Ons kan nog gaan score.
Go! Okay, laat, ek het die boosties. Okay.
Ek het hom.
Fine.
Fuck, hij is een kaakshot.
Fine, ek is midfield.
Ja, maar die man weer. Goed, hè?
Ek weet. Ek het hom.
Dat is alright. Easy kaak, no good. Oké, val terug.
Oh, een sec, sorry.
Oh, iets te kaak aangejaagd. Jerre weer.
Sorry.
Ik heb al eindig goed.
Oei, dom. GG.
Rematch. Ja, nee.
No, that was a good game, man. That was a good game for you, Koenie.
Ja, man. Ik kak het ook, ja.
No, ek like hierdie baan. It's my favorite baan. Dit lyk soos, as jy daar ene wat dit lyk soos rabbel op die vloer. So brein, is 'n breinerig. Mis ek ook.
Ik ook.
Ja, dat is close. Koenie het gesê, hy gaan nie vir die bal nie, hy kyk maar net oor.
Ja, man. Hier is het. Mis ik op. Joh, fuck.
Kijk man. Ek gaan dit nog een dag regkry.
Zit op 4.
Och, eerlikheid op.
Mis ek, oh my
God.
God.
Net oor my. As hy nou kry.
Nice.
Okay.
Nice. Mooi. Yes, that was close fire.
Hy was baie close. Jo, nee, daar was baie close. Hy was eintlik net vorentoe geflip het.
Dis ja, dit is nou seker al baie gestrek.
Oeh, hy is lekker. Okay, ek het hom aan die kant, ek het hom aan die kant. As ek hom raak. Ek het hom geraak. 50-50. Go, 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 go! Oef! Okay, ek is fine. Oh, heerlijkheid, sorry. Een boost. Koppen achter. Nice.
Ik breng hem aan.
Hoe maak je nou? Oh, daar is hij op de andere kant.
Nice.
Touch. Die boost, die boost.
Ah, fuck it, ik kan niet uit elkaar pakken. Ja! Ja, goeie save. Nice.
Oh, yay, buddy!
Nice, good.
Met dit op. Ik heb een beetje de lijven op, zodat we ons niet op. Oké.
Ah, maar zeg.
Dit op. Sorry, de angle was een beetje goed. Oh,
Nice.
oh, Ramon.
Oh, dat is wel. Breng hem. Hallo? Ik kan niet hier. Ik kan niet hoor. Die honden. Ik kan maar zo chatten hoor. Oh, is dat? Yes.
Ja, die vorige game met die was mensen met lakje. Passen daar bal van mij. Ja, ik like hierdie stadion, man. Het is niet lekker. Maar dat was ik kan niet alles. Ja, dat is fijn. Oh, even. Oh, mijn second, sorry. Yes. Got that.
Nice.
Achter. Oh.
Come on.
Dus wat gebeurt? Ik trek in spasmas in die game.
Ja, nee.
Na hierdie game is ek papnat gespeeld. Ek het
Nou,
eers te gaan en fucking. Ek sit eintlik hier in my onie.
Petri zit net in zijn kousen.
Hey. Ek het net in my kous in my onie. Oh, mis ek. Sorry.
Boys. Hey. As hy al quitlis om O, jy het geel karretjies.
Trash, dit is nou gangster.
Hoor die ouens, ek gaan gou gaan. Ek check hulle later weer.
Okay.
Ranger.
Cheers, Kuna. Nee. Ek moet... Ek moet eindelijk werk. Hoe gaan het al?
Alright, dat is eindelijk leuk.
Moet jij ook eindelijk werken? Werk je nog steeds voor jezelf of voor een company of wat? Nee, wat betekent dat? Is het voor jezelf?
Nou, man. Mensen is zo binnen gezocht.
Oh, oké. Ja, gaan we nog één spelen, moet ik ook pakken. Hoor je mij? Als je altijd hoort, dan kan ik je niet meer horen. Dus weer. Oké, ik zal maar niet.
Ja, maar het is ook gezet in je game. Het zit probably op de andere af, want je altijd je kan kunnen.
Ook, ik ga niet altijd weer, hè. Wat is waarvoor
Settings,
switch?
settings audio daar, zo heel onder vanaf niet aanfocus. Dus is je altijd.
Oké, wat? Chat?
Ja, dat werkt.
Wat is het? Audio, mute on unfocused.
Anders dan denk ik dat je
Oké, nou. Kan ik je horen, oké. Is dat raar? Nee, ik kan je horen, want ik kan mijn super horen. Oké, dat wordt niet kijken.
Het is gewoon met aan je game begint. Je moet altijd. Als je full screen mode is, dan heb je altijd wat nu maar doen.
Ja, oké.
Maar dit is eigenlijk
Ja, oké, gooi. Oké, cool. Oh, ja, oké, sorry. Ah. Ja, weet, dan is het nou een andere story. Ja, oké. Luister net. Kijk daar, uit die achter. Oké, nu is het fijn. Hij is er niet mee. We gaan naar... Oh! Rumshot, sorry, ik heb het gang voor dit. Hij is daar. Yeah, dingo. Oh, he's like, this is funny. Well, shit, actually. Very nice. It's fine, I come through. I guess the field, okay. I go. Oh, well. Ja, dat is een goede turnaround. Oké, Back it up. I'll go come back to a bit. Oké, mooi. Dat is fijn, I carry boost. I get on back and stomp. Oh, stomp it on back. Nice. Well done. Ja, wat terecht hè. Oké, top. We gaan een biertje terug en dan gaan ik. Oh, shit, sorry. It's fine. Oh, boost. Big boss. Okay. Top. Oh, well, mate. Okay, score. Oh, close. It's fine. Oh shit, sorry. Huh? Well done. Ik kan niet. Oh, flip, go back. Back it up. Well done. Ik heb die boost weer gaan terug. Go. Well done. Oh, carry. Thank you. Sorry, dat was een kak. Well done. Rechts terug, kijk. Nee. Afstand vandaag. Terug. Great. Oh, my second system. Oh, after that full split. It's fine. Can't do. That's great. I'll say it again. Then it can be gold stone. Shit. That's fine, honey slowly. Well done. GG. Kan nu rematchen. Dat is goed. Well done. Really good.
Ja, soos ons eintlik gehad het.
Huh?
Ons dat 260 aanbod.
Ja. Het is kak. Cool. Hoi Robert, ik zal later weer met dit chatten. Kijk. Just dank je, hè. Bye.